Hello, my name is Jenna. I'm here to give you a little bit of information about the NWEA MAP Growth Assessment. I'll be introducing some key terms along with providing you with some additional resources to help you better understand this assessment and to help you better understand how it can be used with students within your classroom. At the end of this presentation, I'll be providing you with a copy of this slide deck. I highly recommend going through it, clicking on the different links, watching the different videos. It's full of so many wonderful resources that can really better help you understand this assessment and all the great pieces to it. Throughout this presentation, I'll be having us do some check-ins. So I'm going to ask you to go to this website, enter this code right here, or you could also use the QR code. If you have any questions throughout this entire presentation, on that website where you just went to, there is a slide where you can type any question that you have. So feel free to type in any questions at any point in time. At the end, I will take time to read through those questions, go over them with you all. If for any reason you can't type in that question or can't get it to work, just please feel free to unmute and you can ask me the questions verbally. Before we start, on that same site that you just went to, I'm going to ask you to take a poll. I want to get to know a little bit more about you all. So how do you feel about these following terms? Adaptive assessment, normative data, RIT score, zone of proximal development. Have you heard of them before? Do you use them? Are they completely new to you? You'll go to the screen that looks something like this and let me know, are you comfortable with these terms? Strongly disagree, they're brand new, I don't know anything about them. Strongly agree, I feel really comfortable, I use them within my own classroom. We'll see, I'm sure we'll see a wide range. We'll take a look at that. I'm hoping at the end we'll be taking another survey like this, and I hope you'll all end up more in the strongly agree area. So let's start with the basics. What is MAP growth? MAP growth is a nationally normed standardized achievement test which measures what students know and informs what they're ready to learn next by using a computer adaptive test that adjusts to the ability and knowledge of the student. That's a lot. There's a lot of information in there. We're going to take time throughout the rest of this presentation to unpack all those different terms, all those different things you heard. Our learning objectives for today: we're going to learn about adaptive assessment. We're going to learn about RIT score, zone of proximal development, and normative data. Let's start out with that adaptive assessment. What is an adaptive assessment? Well, the NWEA MAP growth is a computerized test that does exactly what it's saying right there. It adjusts, it adapts to what a student needs. So the test will start out at a student's grade level and adjust the level of difficulty based on individual performance. If the student gets a question wrong, they'll get easier. If the student gets the questions right, they'll get harder. It responds to what the student needs, providing them with a unique set of test questions. It's more than just a standardized test. It doesn't provide the same questions every time they take it. It's always different. It always meets the needs of the student at that time. And that allows you to measure the growth over time, allowing you to track a student's progress throughout the school year or over multiple school years. It can track all of that and adjust to your students' needs at any given grade level. Next, we're going to go over the RIT score. So the RIT score is the score that the students get after they're done taking this test. So think of it as like marking height on a growth chart. You can tell how tall a student is at various points in time, how much they've grown between one stage and another. You can kind of use that to predict, hey, I think they might be this tall. The same thing is with their learning with this test. This test shows where they are right now, where they have been. That can help us figure out where we think they might be going, provide us with information that we need to help them get to that point. The scale tracks performances across grade levels. You'll be able to see growth over multiple years. And after they take that test, the teachers get this report with all these scores. This is a wonderful report because These scores can also be connected in these reference charts to different standards. So in this standard, they got this score. In this standard, they got this score. And you can see what those types of questions look like and what those topics were, so that you know this is what we need to work on next for the student. The RIT score can also be connected to multiple educational resources. So this link is wonderful. It shows you all the different resources that can provide those personalized learning or experiences. It can be Learning A to Z, Dreambox, things like that, IXL. These scores can go into there and it'll provide a learning experience that's tailored to the student, giving them exercises that will help them get to that next level. For your older students, you can also put those RIT scores into the College Explorer tool to see which colleges would be ready for them, what ones that would match closely with where they are with that RIT score. I highly recommend going back and watching this video. It has a lot of wonderful information on the RIT scores. Our next learning objective is the zone of proximal development. A lot of you have probably heard about this. You've learned it at some point in time. That's that metaphorical gap between what a learner can do and what they can't do yet. So this was a term coined by the psychologist Vygotsky in the 1930s, and it refers to the difference between what a learner can do without help and what he or she can achieve with guidance and encouragement from a skilled partner. So looking at this for you visual learners out there, learning that they can do without help independently. Here's that learning that they can't do. And right here is that zone of proximal development. And with that scaffolding, can help them scaffold to the next level of what they're able to learn. I love this quote. Challenging students means giving them just right for me learning opportunities. That's what this is. So to find the ZPD, you can do formative classroom assessment. You can also do interim assessments like the map growth, help you understand where a student is now, what they're going to learn next. And then we can use that within our classrooms to provide them the correct instruction, the instruction that's going to help them grow to those levels. I highly recommend checking out these two articles. It's great what the ZPD is and 7 ways to use it to help scaffold and challenge and support students. Our last learning objective is about normative data. This is another term you might have heard with other standardized tests. So first, what is normative data? It's a collection of test scores derived from the administration of an assessment to a sample that is representative of the general population. So what NWEA did, they used an anonymous assessment data from over 11 million students to create national norms, placing students in schools within a representative national sample. So it will take these scores that your students will get and compare them to the average sample population. If you click on this link, it's the normative data overview chart. It's wonderful. It has all that in-depth person. If you're a data person, this is great. So these norms help you see if the students are growing at an expected pace, regardless of where they are. Is their growth typical? Is it atypical? It also helps us see where they are in comparison to their peers. Take a look at this. The student level achievement norms help you see your students' percentile rankings in a nationally representative student population. And then the student level growth norms allow you to compare your students' growth with that of their academic peers. And as you all know, everything is different from 20 years ago to now. Students are very different. Schools are different. So NWEA conducts norming studies frequently, every 3 to 5 years, ensuring that the comparisons reflect current standards and demographics. That's what that most recent report that I showed you is from 2020. These are some additional resources for you for things like who we are, what we do, a family guide. This is wonderful to provide to your families. The learning continuum, the educational blog. Here's the connections page. Has all these wonderful things that you can look at and help you connect with other educators and help you with any of those questions you might have. Here's what's new for back to school for the MAP growth for this school year. And then before we end, I want you to do the same thing. So you're going to go back into where you were before with those surveys. And I want you to tell me now, how do you feel about these terms? Adaptive assessment, normative data, RIT score, zone of proximal development. Do you feel more comfortable with them? Do you still have some questions maybe? I'm going to give you a few minutes to put that in so we can see and compare where we started and where we're going now. And then please let me know how I did. Here, you can tell me how with the presentation, not very helpful, extremely helpful, a little helpful. And then how did it go? What else can I do? Any advice that you can give me, anywhere I can improve, anything I can do to support you. Our mission here is to partner to help students. We're here to partner with you so that we can help all kids learn. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. I really appreciate it. Now we're going to take some time to go over some of those questions that you might have.